Disproportionate Representation in Special Education by Sam Phillips. Disproportionate representation in special education has been in the past and continues to be a problem in today's schools. The gap between the amount of minority students and the amount of Caucasian students in special education programs is alarming. In order to get to the bottom of disproportionality in special education, we first must ask ourselves, what is disproportionality? Disproportionality is when there is a disproportionate representation that exists when students' representation in special education programs or specific special education categories exceeds their proportionate enrollment in a school's general population. Blanchett, 2006. The true beginning of special education started way back in 1954 with the decision of Brown versus the Board of Education of Topeka. In this case, courts ruled that segregation was illegal in schools and that all children had the right to an education. Brown versus Board of Education guaranteed today what is known as FAPE, or free and appropriate public education for everyone. After Brown, FAPE was given to everyone regardless of whether you were black, white, or had special needs. The Brown decision has turned out to be a great thing for special education. However, since Brown versus Board, there has been a growing gap between minorities and white students that are being referred and then admitted to special education. At this time, we must ask ourselves, why are so many minority students being referred to special education? And what can we do to close the gap? In regards to why so many minority students are finding themselves in special education, many experts point to several reasons. First, culturally biased testing, and that the tests that the students take to qualify for special education don't recognize the student's true culture or home life. Next, the deficit model thinking and preconceived notions that teachers may have or may not have about certain students. Others, just simply plain lazy teachers. It's easier to put off the problem of someone not doing well in school onto somebody else. Next, incorrect labeling, such as LD, when it is really a language barrier that the student is dealing with. And finally, just poor teaching altogether. One idea to help fix this issue, brought forth by Raines, Camphouse, and Roach, is the idea of universal screening and early interventions. Early interventions and universal screening would be done in hopes that catching the problems earlier would help them be dealt with before a child needs to be referred to special education. The next idea to help deal with this issue is culturally responsive teaching, and teachers being aware of their biases or perhaps preconceived notions that they may have and addressing them through reflection and also through communication with the families of the students and the student himself. And the last way that we're going to look at to potentially fix the issue at hand is through culturally responsive evaluations, and understand that the majority of the evaluations out there today are culturally biased, and to take that into consideration when considering a student for special education referral. Going forward, the United States Department of Education is making strides in order to bridge the gap between minorities and Caucasian students being referred to special education. As recently as 2004, IDEA, also known as the Individuals with Disabilities Act, has begun ensuring that both states and local education agencies will begin taking a look at the achievement gap and improving the achievement gap between minority students and white students. Taking it one step further, IDEA also requires that state education agencies and local education agencies take the necessary steps to address disproportionate representation in special education throughout the United States. Between the revisions in IDEA and the addition of No Child But Left Behind, positive changes are taking place. By taking these steps, hopefully it will ensure that all students are able to receive an equal education and ensure a better future for all.
Changes everything when a moment, it changes everything.